It is 2:30 in the morning, and I do have to work at 5. I should not be awake yet. I don't know, I just haven't been sleeping much lately. I'm just getting an hour here and there. I always do this as I get closer to competition. I've done this at what? How many times now? And each competition is just like the first one. I still get the butterflies. I still get nervous. I still I think about like bombing the lifts in the most spectacular fashion, and I think like about my shoulders blowing out or my back exploding, or like. And then I gotta go. All right, I gotta get that out of my head, and then I try to focus on. I meditate on perfect lifts, and then after I do that, I'll usually put on something really boring on YouTube, something educational, and try to fall asleep. Other nights, I don't know, man. I've been doing this training. So, we obviously know I am not a boxer, kickboxer. Like, yes, I do practice. Yes, I'm training my ass off. Yes, I do do sparring. Yes, I intend to, I do take it seriously. But no, I mean, I'm going to be 50 this year. It's not like I have any notions that I'm going to get in a ring and fight, for any real reason. You never know. I mean, I do enjoy it, even if I'm bad at it. But that's not the point. The point is the reason I'm making these videos is because I don't know what else to do with myself. I finished the Candido 6-week program, and it calls for a week off leading into the powerlifting meet. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I can't sit around for a week. So I got to thinking, like, well, I'm a little overweight still. I'm doing a water cut. I don't have to lose that much, so it's not that big of a deal. But a little cardio, and this is perfect. You know what I mean? It's not, it's still allowing me to recover. The stretching's really good. It's fun. But, I also understand it's probably not the best content, and I don't want to lose any subscribers. People are watching this going, this guy sucks. You know what I mean? Like, why does he keep posting these videos? Well, like anything else, it's the process, because I am working my ass off and I am getting better. And I'll be honest with you, if you get in a ring with me, you're going to be in for it. Like, I can handle myself pretty good. And guys look at training videos and it's easy to judge a book by its cover. The old boy can throw down and he can take a hit. So even if you were to run circles around me, you better have some knockout power. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep coming. And that's sort of always been the way. I mean, I've always been like that. You know what I mean? Like, I've gotten tuned up pretty bad in my time. But every single time, whoever did the tuning remembered. I left an impression, if that makes sense. Yeah, what else can you ask for, right? I was talking to a couple people about self-defense. Like what training for fighting. What does that do for you? Well, honestly, in a self-defense situation, your best option is to try to run away, get out of there, leave. That should be the number one goal, is to get the heck away from the danger. If you can't get away from the danger, learning how to fight, putting yourself in harm's way, like sparring, get that sort of thing, learning how to take a hit. Really all it does is it gives you the self-confidence so that you can remain present in the moment. Because what tends to happen with people that are untested is, in an emergency situation, we default to what we've trained. You play the way you practice. So just like any other sport or anything else, when you're in the moment and the adrenaline takes over, you're not thinking, you're defaulting to what you've practiced. So if you haven't practiced anything, you're going to just freeze up. You're not going to know what to do, and you're probably going to get your butt kicked. Now, if I was to be assaulted by, let's say, a group of hooligans, you're walking down the street and the kids that are walking on the sidewalk coming your way decide, hey, we're going to beat this guy up and take his money. Am I going to stand there and fight them all, like Chuck Norris? Probably not. But what my training will allow me to do is probably allow myself to damage somebody really badly and then seek an opportunity to bolt. You know what I mean? Like you drill into one person as hard as you can, and then push off, and then circle around, and then try to hop a fence and run. Like that's my strategy, is to be faster than them. But if they did corner me, I mean, you have to fight for your life. It's nice to have some skills. It's nice to know that if you did smack someone in the head, you probably could knock them out. Things of that nature. It's always good to have some kind of training. But, like I found like the best training, that the most useful training I ever received was emergency response training. And actually having survived a couple of emergencies, because the biggest thing in life, I have never once been attacked in public. Never once. Nobody's ever come up to me. We have this grand vision in our head that like I said, you're gonna be walking down the street and a group of young hooligans is gonna walk up and you're gonna get all Chuck Norris on them. That's never happened, not once. Most people look at me and they cross the street. They're like, oh, let's look at this weirdo. You know what I mean? I have enough of an imposing figure for the average dude where they're not going to mess with me. I don't have to worry about that. There's always that one guy that wants to try to test you. But even in that situation, you just ignore him and move on. It just doesn't, I've never run into that problem. But what I have run into is the kind of emergencies that are life and death, like chemical plant explosions or car accidents or train derailments or house fires, things of that nature, major injuries at work, people where guys have fallen and almost killed themselves and need immediate emergency attention. And I've always, the people always freak out, and I'm the guy that goes in there and snaps them and gives them direction, like, you call 911, you call security and make sure they can get in here, you attend to the patient, whatever. I direct people. And being able to keep my mind in an emergency situation has served me very well, and that's the reason why I have the job that I have. And it's the same thing, like in a situation where you were to be attacked, where you were to be mugged, being able to keep your mental faculties is what's going to save you. There's no scenario you can really train for, because we have this idealistic version of what's going to happen, and it rarely goes down that way. Most scraps like that, I've been in a few bar fights. I remember when we were in the Marines, we get in a fight every weekend. And it was usually this sloppy, drunk, rock'em sock'em robots where people are flinging beer bottles and bitch slapping each other and shoving each other over tables, and there's no form or function to it. And honestly, me and the guys I was with, we'd always try to inch our way to the door and get the hell out of there before the MP showed up. You know what I mean? Again, my strategy was to get the hell out of there. And that really realistically should be your number one thing to do. Number two, if I really think my life's being threatened, I carry a 45. You think I'm going to square up with you when there's 4-on-1? No, I am going to pull my 45 out, and if that doesn't deter you, well, we'll just take it from there, if that makes sense. That brings me to another thing, is a lot of people do arm themselves, and I think that's awesome. An armed society is a polite society. Everybody should be armed. If the bad guys are carrying guns, we should all carry a gun. What did my dad said? If you arm one moron, you got to arm everybody to keep it equal. Well, that's something else you should probably practice with. When my wife first got her handgun, I told her, I said, just practice, pulling it out of your purse, unloading, and loading it. Just drill, just do that. Just load magazines all day long. Just spend an hour or two a day pulling it out of wherever you conceal it, aiming it, unloading it, and loading it. And because that's the number one thing I see people is in a panic situation. If they have a weapon, they fumble it, or they can't get it out of their belt, or something jams or whatever, because they haven't practiced with it, and their brain's scrambling to figure out what to do. Whereas guys that were trained in the military, you see, as soon as something goes down, they're ready to go. Why? Well, because they've done it so many times, it's like second nature. It's like unzipping your fly to take a leak or tying your shoes. It's just something that's ingrained. You know how to do it. Whatever you choose as your means and method to protect yourself, you should have a plan and you should train. And if you're one of those home self-defense people and you live in a bad neighborhood and you think that it's a possibility that someone could break into your house, you should probably have a plan for that. And it's something that you and your family should practice. Fire extinguishers. I got one in the garage. I got one in the bedroom. If there was a fire in the kitchen, I've strategically placed a fire extinguisher to where the fire would not impede access to it. But then you got to practice with it. So every once in a while, and it doesn't have to be, we're not psychotic about it. Every couple of months, bring the kids out to the garage, say, hey, here's the fire extinguisher. Why don't you grab that and show me how to use it? And just kind of go over a rough plan. I mean, if you have a grease fire in your kitchen, it could be as simple as putting a cover on it or grabbing a bag of flour and just dusting the whole thing. But then again, that's be something that you have access to, you know where it is, and you know what you're going to do with it. I've seen so many videos of kitchen fires where people are cooking and it starts this fire and then they throw water on it. Next thing you know, their whole kitchen's on fire. Oh, it's glorious. Or what are those? The turkey fryers? Those are awesome. I love those. What is it? The frozen turkeys. They put them in the fryer and it explodes, and the guy's got the thing on his porch. Next thing you know, his house is burning down. That's a real thing that happens every year. Those are the kind of things that that's an emergency situation that could realistically happen in your house. An outlet could start on fire. One of your kids could leave a toy in front of the fireplace and it could catch fire. There's extension cords that are daisy chained together when you're working in the backyard. If you pull too many amps, that could start on fire. I've seen outlets melt. I've seen all sorts of weird things where you just want to be semi-prepared for a situation like that. There's an old saying, chance favors the prepared. The more prepared you are, the more chances in your favor. We get lucky sometimes. Luck favors the prepared, absolutely. In every situation that I've survived, and I've been in a few where I should have been dead, it's because my lizard brain took over and I was able to resort to some kind of training that I had that allowed me to get out of the situation. So you can never have too much training, no matter what you're doing, especially when it comes to emergency response, fighting, self-defense, anything. I mean, pick a discipline. Train, and then train some more. Right now, all I'm trying to do is just get the ability that my body used to have back. It's coming along slowly but surely. I'm starting to get it, and you guys have been helping me immensely. After this competition on Sunday, I'm going to be diving in pretty hard for a couple of months. I want to see, with proper training and coaching and a little bit of dedication and time, how good can I get for my 50th birthday? What am I capable of? What is a 50-year-old capable of? We'll see. Am I a genetic outlier, or am I just another schlub that's trying to be somebody? I don't know, but I'm one of those guys that's never shied away from a challenge, and I don't really let the detractors stop me either. You know what I mean? You suck. Yeah, I do. Watch me go. You know what I mean? There's something fun about not being good at something. When you know you're good at something, it's easy to just do that. But there's something about, being the worst person in the room and working your way up to gain the respect and, of your peers. And then once you achieve that, there's a good feeling that comes with that. And it's good to, try new things. I gotta get ready for work. I will see you guys on the battlefield.